in a long time. I felt like doing something different today, and I wanted to share with you guys this. I'm just getting the lighting just set up here. This is a lesson in inflation, a modern lesson, dying money, a lesson in silver. I felt this would be a great time and a great example. Sorry, I got to turn that off. There we go. You can tell I haven't done one of these where we have the video going at the same time. So this way I can see your chat. I've got the laptop up on the side with this video on it. And welcome first off to all the channel members, all of those that take the time out of their day to stop by and join the conversations. And thanks to each and every one of you who make this channel possible. You know, it's in order to get props like this, sometimes it's the channel members or super chats that the donations that help support this channel, keep it energized, motivated, and get, things like this, make it possible. So for the last couple of years, you and I have been discussing the deterioration, the devaluation, the debasement of the currency of Venezuela. We've been watching it in real time, inflation leading to hyperinflation, the struggles, the real life suffering that takes place as a result of socialist programs, government spending. No matter how you want to spin it, it is the government's fault. The central bankers there, it's their fault. And that's just the way it is. Of course, American politicians think they are immune to such consequences of economic behavior. But you and I know that's not the case, that this is the course of things, and this is essentially how it will be here in America eventually. So let's just get right to it without any further BS. This is the extemporaneous ramblings of a madman. Yes, the same channel, unscripted, live, no notes, no preparations, not sponsored. But first off, let's talk about what we have here in front of us. The person who I ordered these million Bolivars notes from was generous, and it also included a 50. What is it? I think it's a 50 Bolivars. So this is 50 Bolivars. He sent this note as well, and that was just kind of like included as an extra. I didn't expect to get a 50 Bolivar note. It's got a nice little kitty on the reverse. Looking for a year of when this was printed. This one here, pretty quality looking notes. I mean they're. This is 2018. So this is a 2018 note, right there. 50 Bolivars. So that would have been 50 of these. We'll get to this. This is a 1 Bolivar silver coin. And what I really like about the Venezuela silver, and I'll show you this, is they put the weight and purity right on the coin. 1926, you've got 0.835 silver, 5 grams. Estados Unidos de Venezuela, the coat of arms back there. We'll get to that in a minute. Oh, you can hear that. Listen to that. Just listen to it one more time. Nice little ting to it, little ring. Nothing like sound money, real money making the sound. So I really want to just express some appreciation to one of our viewers, Mikhail Kalashnikov, who notified me that these were available on eBay. And of course, you know me, I have to add these to the collection. And hey, Nate, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it, my friend. Subscribers. So thanks, Mikhail Kalashnikov, because he essentially notified me these were available. I remember doing a video when the news first broke that the million Bolivar notes were now on being printed, that the economy had been destroyed so much so that the banks, the Banco de Central Venezuela Banco Central de Venezuela. As you know, the currency became so debased and so devalued that they had to add zeros to it. They had to make higher denomination notes. This is essentially where Biden wants to take the United States economy. This million Bolivar note. It's interesting to think about this note being the face of it, stating that it's a million Bolivars, would essentially be a million of these silver coins. Imagine what a million silver coins, roughly the size of a quarter, would be worth today. Well, I can tell you, because this coin right now, the melt value, just the melt value, I'll give you some details, some specs on this coin. So this is a 1926 Venezuela silver, 5 grams. These were minted between, I believe, 1879 and 1936. Okay, and it's a Venezuela Bolivar. That's the currency. This is from the second reform. It's worth about 100 centimos. That's the stated value. 100 centimos equals 1 bolivar. Now, 0.835 5 grams silver. The face on there is Bolivar. We'll read about that in a second. But the melt value is what I wanted to get to here. The bullion value on the site that I'm at now, which is silveragecoins.com, says that this holds about $3.37 worth of silver. So do the math here. 337 times a million of them. Is that possible? If this is worth $3 in silver, and this note represents a million of them, could this be worth would this note have held $3 million worth of silver? $3.3 million worth of silver? I mean, obviously it says a million bolivars. This is 1 bolivar. It holds $3 worth of silver in it. So if I'm only assuming that if I had 1 million of these, I would have $3,370,000 worth of silver. That's what the destruction of currency looks like, ladies. I mean, you can't really get more clear than this. The more they print it, the less valuable it gets. But of course, if people had held their silver, I don't even know what this buys today. I will be doing further expansion on this topic because what I have ordered also is the 5 bolivar coin, which is roughly the size of a Morgan dollar, a full American silver dollar. And but again, yeah, the specifications here: fineness 0.8350, weight 5 grams, in ounces that's 0.16 ounces. The net content is 0.13 ounces or 4.18 grams. And the bullion value, according to this site currently, is $3.37. They minted 1 million of these. Now, this is another funny fact when I was reading about these. They only minted 1 million of these. So pause for a second. Look at this. This note, this single note, if was still redeemable in silver, could be cashed in for the entire year's mintage supply. Every single bolivar coin minted, 1 million 1 bolivar coins. That's all they minted that year in silver. And this singular note, which probably can't buy you a stick of bubble gum in Venezuela, could be cashed in for every single bolivar minted in 1926. Look at the reverse on that. I love the coat of arms. Got these cornucopias up here. Beautiful South American silver. Like I've always told you, there's something about South American silver. Just splendid stuff. Now let's get a little bit further into the coins of Venezuela. They've changed their economy over time. Of course, because debasement, devaluation, currency changes. There's been different phases to it. 1873, 1877, there was a different phase of the purity, and by year in millions of pieces approximate, they made gold, silver, and cupro-nickel coins that were dated from 1873 to 1877. So they did have gold back then. I don't have any Venezuelan gold, but there is Venezuelan gold coins from that time. Now I'm on another page here. I wanted to show from numis.com. And I'm going to see if they have a different valuation stated today on the fineness, if they keep it up to date. It doesn't look like they do. But on the obverse, the arms of Venezuela with a legend at the top, the value, the date, and the weight. So they actually call this the obverse over here. That's the obverse. The arms of Venezuela with a legend at the top, the value, the date, the weight, and the fineness at the bottom. As I've stated, República de Venezuela, un Bolivar. And that's from that. All right, the reverse. And then, of course, you've got, I wanted to read about this gentleman, Bolivar. I believe I've read somewhere he was a Mason, a Freemason, the leader of Venezuela that's on their coinage. Well, that would make sense. That would make sense. Now, where are we at here? Here we go. This note, because again, this is actually already updated on Wikipedia real quick. It says on March 5th, this was when the news kind of really broke. The Central Bank of Venezuela introduced three new denominations: the 200,000, the 500,000, and the million note, which were made available to the general public on March 8th. So these became available to the public on March 8th, 2021. The million Bolivar note is only worth, are you ready for this? At the time these were printed back then, and it's probably worse now, the million Bolivar note, in if you were to exchange it for US dollars, is worth 52 cents at the time of the announcement. By late May, the exchange rate had become over 3 million bolivars to $1 US dollar. So it takes $3 million for $1 US dollar. So it's now worth about 33 cents. That's how bad their inflation is. They are destroying their currency. It's happening by the month. According to a Bloomberg article, on July 1st, 2021, Venezuela plans to redenominate the bolivar at a ratio of 1 million to 1. A million to 1 in August of 2021. So they're going to do a revaluation. That's going to fix everything. That's coming up in August. A revaluation. Effectively, they're going to just remove 6 zeros from the denominations. The current largest denomination banknote is 1 million bolivars expressed on the note with a predominant 1 followed by the descriptive million de bolivares. It's therefore likely that the bank intends to retain the bolivar currency name. It doesn't matter what you name it, it's still trash, right? It's like the dollar. The dollar's not the dollar anymore. Am I right? They're going to retain the name, but they're going to reuse the existing note designs. These people never learn. Doesn't matter what country it is, what socialist program it is, what bank, what central bank, what politician, they don't get it. It doesn't work. The experiment always fails. This right here is money. This is always money. This can't be printed, devalued, or debased. This is silver, sound money. Dynastic wealth preservation over time. There's nothing they can do to destroy the value of this. And they keep printing paper. Leper currencies, fancy little notes with dead guys' faces on them. 1 million bolivares. Oh, this was printed in September of 2020. And of course now, August, it didn't work out. So in August, they're gonna just wipe off some zeros and hope that that fixes everything. That's gonna fix everything, right? That's gonna fix everything. I'm telling you, this is a lesson. This happens, doesn't matter if it's what country it is. Doesn't matter what country it is. And the thing is, it's amazing to me is the United States thinks that we are completely immune to this. That this cannot happen here. That it's impossible. I mean, our own president said that spending money, trillions upon trillions of dollars, $5 trillion, he said that it's going to reduce inflation, reduce inflation, reduce inflation. Does anyone believe that? Do the people that were CNN, do they actually believe that guy when he said that? I mean, we talked about it last night. It's incredible. I mean, you can actually go through, it's pretty lengthy to read about the economic collapse of Venezuela, and I'll probably save this for when the other coins come. This is more going to serve as an introduction today, and I just couldn't wait to show you guys this note especially because it's breaking news really. I mean, I don't know how many other channels have shown you the million bolivar note, but here it is in person. I'm handling it, printed by the central banks of Venezuela. This is what the death of a currency looks like. Remember what I told you guys one day? It'll happen. No amount of fiat could buy you any amount of silver. So let's do the math real quick. If this is $3.32, was that right? Where was that at? Did you remember what I came up with there? $3.37. These are worth about 30 cents a piece, right? It would take, 10? So this is worth about, if I'm not mistaken, this might be worth, I'm guessing this is worth a little over 10 million bolivars. This one Bolivar coin. You want to talk about wealth preservation, my friends? This is a 1 Bolivar coin, right? And in 2021 Bolivars, it's worth about 10 million. 10 million Bolivars are required to purchase this single Bolivar silver coin. That is the death of a currency. That's what inflation looks like. That's what hyperinflation looks like. This is $10 million, 10 million Bolivars worth of silver right here. 10 million. I mean, these are incredible numbers. It went from being 1 Bolivar to worth 10 million Bolivars. That is, I mean, you could boil it all down. That is all economics put aside. You just remove everything. Who cares about the history, the mint numbers, the population, the images of the coin, what economic policies transpired, how much was printed, or what? The fact is, when you boil it all away and you get to the bare bones of this discussion, when you get to the actual meat and potatoes of economics here, the fact remains is that's worth 10 million Bolivars in silver. This is worth 30 cents today. And it's got a million on it. This is worth $3.37 in silver. I mean, this is it. And they're going to continue to do it. And this will continue to hold. Eventually, this banknote's going to be expired. It sounds like in August. In August, this note that was printed in September will no longer be valid. So imagine you were paid in these. You have a couch cushion stuffed with these, or you've put them into your bank. I don't know who would do that. You would probably, if you're in Venezuela, you should be spending your fiat as fast as you're getting it, transitioning into silver and gold. Exiting this position, you need to exit this position and get into this position as rapidly as possible. If there's still people that are selling silver in Venezuela, which I doubt. But in August alone, we just read, these will be expired. You can't even use them anymore at the store. They're worthless, essentially. They're already worthless. This was printed in September, and it's worthless this month. Does that make any sense to you guys? Come on now. Come on now. Again, Pelosi, AOC, Biden, Bernie Sanders, they agree with the policies these people put in place. They love it. This is the type of thing they want. They want to see this happen. They are completely disconnected from economic reality. They are economically ignorant. They're retarded. Silver, money since the beginning of time, can't be inflated. Absolute liquidity anchor, real wealth. They can't destroy it. The coin's sitting right here, minted in 1926. I can't even wear it out. What do you guys think of this? Where are you sitting on this? This is an excellent example. This is a prime example in dying money. This is a modern lesson in silver. This is happening right now. This isn't like 30 years ago. This isn't at the turn of the century. This isn't some former Soviet bloc nation that just fell apart like Hungary or Romania or Bulgaria. This is today. This is today, Junior. This isn't Weimar Germany. This isn't some country in Africa. This isn't Zimbabwe. This is right now. This is a resource-rich nation, the nation of Venezuela. This is a pretty modern-looking note. I'm curious where they were printed. Somewhere I was reading, I believe these were minted, believe it or not, in Philadelphia. Some of the Venezuela silver coins were minted actually in United States mints, believe it or not. Remarkable, though. Remarkable. I'm going to try to find you the real quick here. There was an exchange rate chart. Let me find it. Here you go. Now listen to this. This is interesting. This is the time it would take for the Venezuela Bolivar to lose 90% of its value. Are you ready for these numbers? A 301-day rolling average at 3.27% yearly inflation. The U.S. average, 1914 to 2018, it takes about 72 years to lose 90% of its value. At 14,200%, the yearly inflation to Venezuela average, quarter four 2017, takes about 5 months. The time to lose 90% of its inflation, I'm going to start around 2016. It took about 10 months. Starting in July of 2017, it took about 4 months. And then around 2018, this is the rate, they delayed it, it got slowed down a little bit, about 6 months. More inflation started kicking in. In around May, June 2018, it got down to about 4 months. It took about 4 months to lose 90% of its value, the Bolivar. And they're surpassed 2 months now. Starting at around 2019, it was down to 3 and 2 months that it would take. So if you held the currency for just that amount of time, you would lose 90% of your purchasing power and your wealth. 90% in just 1 or 2 months. Look how much silver just dominates paper. That's unbelievable. Now, let me continue on. Here's some other notes I got pulled up for you guys. There's a lot of information about the Venezuela economy. It's funny how it's not really in the news here much. The United States media doesn't really want to talk about the failure of socialist programs, mainly because they're apologists for it. I mean, we've seen the Democratic Party, the radical Marxists, the progressives. You have seen lately how they've essentially gone to bat for Cuba. They love them. They're trying to get as much socialism and communism as they can't allow for the media to report on the breakdown and the failures of communist and socialist programs, because those are the very programs and designs that they have set on the United States. It's what they're trying to do here. That's what they want to do here. Of course, they hate silver. They hate gold. They hate sound money because it's a way to exit the state. You can pull it out of circulation. You can exercise Gresham's law. You can hoard silver. And then the state can't have it. The tyrants can't have it. It's unbelievable. Now I've got, where is my 1940? In 1940, the Banco Central de Venezuela began issuing paper money, introducing by 1945 denominations of 10, 20, 50, 100, and 500 bolivars. The 5 bolivar notes were issued between 1966 and 1974, when they were replaced by coins. In 1989, notes for 1, 2, 5 bolivars were issued. As inflation took hold, higher denominations of banknotes started being introduced. I can't wait. Here's what I can't wait for, and you know what's coming. But then again, digital currencies and the United States trying to get away from physical currency might put a damper on this, but I'm waiting for the higher denomination notes here in the United States. I'm waiting for them to be forced to introduce $1,000 or $10,000 notes eventually. That's a hallmark of inflation. Because as inflation took hold, higher denominations of banknotes started being introduced. And I think this is why they hate cash. I think this is why the United States wants to get away from cash, because it's a very psychological trigger. When you start seeing higher denomination bills put into circulation, it's pretty obvious then what is taking place. Am I right? So as inflation took hold, they started introducing 1,000 bolivars in 1991, 2,000 and 5,000 bolivars notes in 1994. Then they had to introduce the 10,000, the 20,000, and the 50,000 bolivars notes in 1998. The first 20,000 bolivar notes were made in a green color similar to the 2,000 banknotes, which caused confusion, and the new banknotes were made in the new olive green color. Starting from the year 2000, banknotes ranging from 5,000 to 50,000 bolivars were renamed. They always rename them to República Bolivariana de Venezuela. And here you can see an example of that here. República Bolivariana de Venezuela instead of Banco Central de Venezuela. But that's what this on the back of this one here. They keep switching their names around, try to throw people off. After the 1999 Constitution was adopted, more banknotes of 10, 20, and 50,000 bolivars were updated in April of 2006 after the National Assembly approved changes to the coat of arms, which were made official March 12, 2006. So does the coat of arms fix everything? If they change that, does that help things? I don't know. You tell me. It sounds like a bunch of Banana Republic games. Of course, America's immune to this type of thing. Now, on their coinage, I'm going to go up here. The exchange rate history, currency in the black market. There's a lot of stuff on the Wikipedia about this. And the inflation charts are unbelievable. When you look at the inflation charts, I'll actually have to do this one day in a live. What we'll do is I'll just bring up this entire article and we'll go over it one day. But they change the name of their currency multiple times, from the Bolivar, Bolivar Fuerte, the Bolivar Soberano, all of these effectively just changing the exchange rates, the denominations, the purchasing power, just through government mandate. The Bolivar is named after the hero of Latin American independence, Simón Bolivar. That's this individual here, I'm guessing. But the Bolivar was adopted by the monetary law of 1879, and it replaced the short-lived Venezolano at a rate of 5 Bolivares to 1 Venezolano. Initially, the Bolivar was defined on the silver standard. Here you go. The silver standard. Equal to 4.5 grams of fine silver. So 1 Bolivar, 4.5 grams of fine silver. That's a sound money linkage right there, ladies and gentlemen. You can't fake that, right? Isn't that beautiful? They actually had it anchored starting in 1879 to 4.5 grams of fine silver, following the principles of the Latin Monetary Union. And that was a 19th century system that unified several European currencies to a single currency that could be used in all member states when most national currencies were still made out of gold and silver. It was established in 1865 and disbanded in 1927, of course, after World War I. The monetary law of 1887 made the gold bolivar unlimited legal tender, and the gold standard came into full operation in 1910. Venezuela went off the gold standard in 1930, and in 1934, the Bolivar exchange rate was fixed in terms of the US dollar at a rate of 3.914 Bolivares to 1 US dollar, revalued to 3.18 Bolivares to 1 US dollar in 1937, a rate which lasted until 1941. Until the 18th of February 1983, now called Black Friday, Viernes Negro, by many Venezuelans. The Bolivar had been the region's most stable and internationally accepted currency, but it then fell prey to high devaluation. Think of that. It was the region's most stable, internationally accepted currency, and then they killed it. Well, how did they kill it? What happened? You guys know what happens. You know exactly what they did. Exchange controls were imposed on February 5th, 2003 to limit capital flight. Pay attention, because this is the stuff that happens in the United States soon. This is what you'll hear. It's the same playbook. Exchange controls were imposed to limit capital flight. You're going to have to pay attention, because that's going to happen in this country. It might happen under a different name. Capital flight in economics occurs when assets or money rapidly flow out of a country due to an event of economic consequence or as the result of economic globalization. Such events could be an increase in taxes on capital or capital holders, or the government of the country defaulting on its own debt. The capital flight could definitely happen in this country, and I could see them getting more and more interested in exercising those controls. You know the Democrats are going to jump all over it. They'll call it something else. The rate was pegged to the US dollar at a fixed exchange rate of Bolivar's 1,600 to the US dollar. The currency's been in a state of debasement, devaluation, and destruction ever since they left the silver and gold standards, ladies and gentlemen. Once they unpegged from sound money, it was over. You had things like currency black markets, Black Fridays. The exchange rates went off the rails. I mean, in August 2012, the exchange rate was 10 Bolivar Fuertes to 1 Bolivar Soberano. And now the Bolivar Soberano, it's because, again, they changed the name again. In December of 2020, it's about 940,000 to 1.2 million. And you can see an exchange rate here on the old currencies to the new currencies. And it just, all it does is increase. And now we're looking at August. They're going to slash zeros and kind of revalue the currency again, destroying people's savings, coming out with new images, new paper bills. But in the coin history again, let's get back to the coin history for this for a second. I'll try to zoom in a little bit on this coin. Let me get it closer to the camera for all of you so you can actually enjoy the silver that you're looking at. There you go. Let me get it kind of still there. In 1879, silver coins were introduced in denominations of 1/5, 1/2, 1, 2, and 5 bolívares, together with gold, 20 bolívares. Gold 100 bolívars were also issued between 1886 and 89. In 1894, they had quarter bolivar coins. Those were introduced, followed by the cupro nickel 5 and 12.5 centimos in 1896. In 1998, after a period of high inflation, new coinage was introduced consisting of the 10, 20, 50, 100, and 500 bolívares denominations. So eventually they had to make coins that were of the multiple bolívares that, of course, were made out of, shrapnel, cupro-clad nickel, just garbage metals, nothing real, nothing sound money. The sound money was done in about, I think the last silver coins like this were, like we read, 1936. And, of course, that was the end of sound money there in Venezuela when it came to coins being minted. And ever since then, high inflation was part of Venezuela's economic collapse. It caused the Bolivar's fuertes value to plummet. And this was about 2016 and 17 was really when it hit. And December 2016, the 100 Bolivar note, Venezuela's largest denomination of currency, was only worth about 23 cents on the black market. On December 7th, a new series of banknotes, that's when they came out with the 500, the 1,000, the 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, and 20,000. So again, ladies and gentlemen, this was just a brief window, a brief look into the destruction of currency. You're looking at a coin before your very eyes that its face value, although is 1 bolivar, just one bolivar, carries today over 10 million bolivars worth in value in the modern bolivar. Take 10 of these notes. Who would do that, though? I don't even know, because, again, it's constantly being eroded. It's still being destroyed every single day. The currency, the paper, the leper currencies, the monopoly notes. Every single day, the paper is worth less while the silver maintains its value. And it requires more and more paper to acquire the same amount of silver. And again, like I've told you, one of these days, no amount of paper, no amount of fiat will acquire any amount of silver whatsoever. You will not be able to exchange your fiat banknotes for any amount of silver. That is the trajectory we are on. That is the course. It is irreversible. It will not go the other direction. It never does. Every example that you've ever looked at of dying money, it never goes back. It never goes in the other direction. You cannot go wrong in buying silver and gold right now. You cannot go wrong. There is no mistake. You're just early. Don't worry about premiums. Don't worry about anything else. Get rid of your paper. Get rid of your fiat, because this is the direction. This is how it always plays out every single time throughout history. It will not change. They will not fix this. There's no going back. There is no hope. Fiat always dies. Gold and silver always survives. Gold and silver always survives. And fiat always dies. Anyone who's an apologist for the US dollar is an enemy to sound money. The US dollar is dead. It is dying. There's nothing you can do about it. So save yourselves, save your wealth. Put your wealth into things that resist tyranny, resist the state, and resist their efforts at destroying and devaluing and debasing currencies through inflation. Buy silver, buy gold. This is Junius Maltby with a message for Sound Money, signing out. Thank you for tuning in to the Junius Maltby channel. All of you, I thank you for being part of this channel always. And be well, my friends.